This is a picture of a small village in southern Nagano, and it's actually labeled as one of the most beautiful villages in Japan. It's a place called Oshika. We are a company mainly based in Nagano, and you got lots of places like this. You know, driving to Oshika, it's very common to see like these monkeys here. This is very typical. I mean, driving to, you see them climbing on the walls or over the fences, and it's quite. Just don't make eye contact, you know? Now, there's a popular belief that rural Japan is not welcoming to foreigners, right? Now, our experiences convince us that that's not entirely true. My name is Richard Hernandez. I'm a team leader here at the at ADZ Corporation, not here, over there in ADZ Corporation in the Public Education Department. And aside from things like developing AI-powered educational services or dispatching ICT advisors to public schools, one of the biggest things that we do is we dispatch assistant language teachers to public schools throughout Japan. And my colleague, who actually couldn't make it today, Paris, she's been in Japan specifically for almost 9 years. She's one of our trainers at A to Z Corp. And during her time, in Japan, she's worked with A to Z for nearly 8 years, and she's gained all kinds of experience across the public, private, and corporate sectors. And, you know, like, our ALT team is the biggest in the company. It's a primary source of those positive impacts that come from the ALTs that we get that are sent to all the villages in the town. Now, I believe that is the sort of primary reason why we are the #1 ALT dispatch company in the prefecture, serving towns like this. You know, I want to show you actually a short video of a town, one of the towns that we serve. The name of the town is Sakuho. And it's a town in eastern Nagano Prefecture with a population of about 11,000. Like many other towns, Sakuho is very keen to protect itself from declining population. And they wanted to attract more foreigners to Sakuho. They wanted more foreigners. So they asked our ALTs if they could help make a commercial to promote their town. And everyone was on board. We're like, yeah, dude, let's do it. And this is what they made.
Hey guys, I'm Virgil.
And I'm Giuliano.
We're English teachers. Let us show you around our town, Sakuho. Let's go!
Sakuho is located on the east side of the Nagano Prefecture, somewhere between Karuizawa and Kiyosako.
They asked our ALTs to think of different things about their town, about Sakuho, that would be attractive to foreigners, and what was cool about it in English that anybody could understand, so that the locals could also be proud of the town that they work in. So this is kind of what they made here.
From the Netherlands, where the highest area is a mere 300 meters.
Now, our ALTs are from everywhere. We want to get beyond the whole. It's really important, I think, for rural Japan to see people that are not just the blonde hair, blue eyes. You know, like they need to see everyone from everywhere. So that's something that we're really proud to bring to these rural towns.
For fishing. This reminds me of the Maas River in the Netherlands.
What you just saw, if this is the first time you've heard of Sakuho, you know, I think it's a shame. There are so many beautiful places and experiences to be had in these little nooks and crannies in places like Nagano. Not just Nagano, but any of the rural areas in Japan. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous, right? Now, in places like these, we found that people have more of a sort of untouched or classical lifestyle. But the locals here are by no means anti-foreign or anything like that. Rather, they don't have the same access or equity as people like, you know, places like here in Tokyo. They don't have that same access to English, and more importantly, to sort of the information, the living information about the world outside of Japan. And so, you know, it's really a shame. Now, why is that valuable? Now, I want to tell you a short story about somebody we just hired. His name is Taiyo. He's Japanese, and he's an administrative assistant. Now, Taiyo's job is to help ALTs get their visas processed and help them with recruiting, help them get their apartments all set up, get their car leases all done, and all that kind of stuff, right? So to do this, of course, you need to be able to speak English, but you also need to be able to speak fluent Japanese so you can talk with the realtors and the car people, right? And of course, beyond just being able to understand English, you have to be able to understand different cultures. You have to understand what is valuable. Like, for privacy to a foreigner may be different from a Japanese. So there's so many different value systems that he has to be aware of. So it's a tall order to be able to be that bridge between the two. So I'm going to show you a video of this guy. He's 23 years old. He's never been overseas. He's 23 years old. He just studied English And this is what he sounds like.
This is Taiyo, and I'm a junior recruiter at A to Z Corporation. And let me share with you my stories with ALTs. And like
Sure.
many
Yeah.
Japanese students feel that English is one of the subjects we study at school,
Mm.
and language far different from Japanese and difficult, and which is true. But I believe that if you can feel studying English is fun, then students will want to study English more like me.
Mm.
So one of the reasons why I like studying English, in other words, I didn't dislike studying English is because LTs in my school made me want to keep studying English.
Your ALTs, right on. That's cool. That's good to hear.
Yes. So my LTs always encourage me that I can do it. Like and others always brought positive energy in the classroom. And whenever I see them, they always greet us in English and wave back at us. And sometimes they join our school lunch and cleaning time. And I really like that time with them. And I still remember their name, all of their names. So
Really? Okay.
yes.
Tell me two other names.
Andrew, and
Andrew.
he's one of the really I really liked him. And then
Uh-huh.
it's Stephanie as well. And yes,
Wow. That's cool. That's pretty amazing.
yes. And I think that kind of like things make students feel that they have some international communication, especially for kids from like rural areas. So
Mhm. Right on. That's great. Cool. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So Taiyo, dude, this guy is 23 years old and he's speaking fluent English. He's never been overseas. And I know it's kind of difficult to hear, but the reason why he was so fluent is because his ALTs inspired him, right? And they actually interacted with him outside of class. It wasn't just like teach the grammar point and then we're done, but they were human with him, right? If those ALTs had not gone to a small town like where Taiyo lives, he would have never had that chance to now be an administrative assistant like he has now. He works full-time, fully remote, full benefits. And one of the major impacts of that is his ability to speak English. If you have a chance to go and teach in rural Japan, it's kind of easy to forget that kind of impact that you have. But here's one of the results, what we just saw. We can create these kinds of experience for these people and sort of support those sorts of careers for them, right? Now, a lot of people, not everybody's interested in ALT work. Like, not everybody wants to be an ALT, and that's fine. Some of the other things that you could do, besides teaching as an ALT, for example, things like corporate lessons with organizations like Epson, the local soccer teams I know at A to Z, we were partnered up with Yamaga, and they have us teach their kids their kids English, and also like the mindset of not being afraid of making mistakes and just go for it, right? You could also teach like for companies like A&A Holdings and things like that to help hotel staff learn to speak English and to interact with foreigners. And another gem that we found, especially that's more readily accepted, is the development of AI or other sort of computer-based services in elementary schools. So like one of the things that we're doing is we're making a AI-powered speaking assessment test so that teachers, instead of spending 2 hours to assess all their kids' speaking ability, they have the kids take a 5-minute test. The data comes into them. They know how each kid is doing, and they have advice on what the next steps to take, and then they can get back to what they enjoy, which is teaching, right, and making that kind of impact. And so, of course, you could teach, but you could also work in the background and help develop these sorts of services, like software engineering or whatever, right? And so more and more rural Japan is starting to realize that, hey, we don't want to lose to Tokyo, we don't want to lose to Osaka, we want to catch up. And so they're trying to bring more and more foreigners to rural Japan, okay? So like, what do you need though to be successful in rural Japan, like places like Nagano? I want to share two things. The first one, of course, there's lots of stuff you can search on Google, so I'm not going to talk about like all that kind of stuff. But the two things that in our experience that we found, number one is cultural awareness and patience. All right. So success often hinges on that cultural awareness and patience. People who embrace and respect Japanese cultures, traditions, and the social norms tend to have smoother transitions. All right. So if you're too adamant, if you're really adamant that your lifestyle is the way to go, then rural Japan is not a place for you. I'll be honest. But if you're willing to be flexible and open and sort of really live what real Japan is like before it became Tokyo, then rural Japan might be a good place for you. Right? So you really need to have the patience to look at what's going on around you and to sort of to find that you need that kind of patience to find that the locals live in this world of limited exposure. It's not that they're anti-foreign, it's just they don't have enough exposure to the global mindset that we all have in this big room, right? So you got to have that patience to be able to see that. The second thing that we think to be successful in rural Japan is involvement. You have to get involved in the local community, like attend the community events, join clubs, volunteer for the different things that they have around town. Get associated with the residents outside of the school or wherever your company is, and be like an active member of the community, and that can really lead to a more enriching experience that helps you feel integrated instead of the foreigner. And I find a lot of our companies, because at our company we do like corporate, we have people who just work telework all day, every day. But that sort of interaction, connection with the community makes them feel like they're not a foreigner. They're another member of society with a different looking face, And I think that's really beautiful. So to conclude this sort of brief journey through these tranquil landscapes, I want to emphasize that the profound impact that individuals like Taiyo or Paris or whatever, they have a really significant influence on shaping the narrative in rural Japan. Now we've witnessed the beauty of the kind of impact that you have there, but one of the things I can't emphasize enough is it has to be many people from different countries that need to get into rural Japan and show them what really is out there. Because the world is not Canada and America, right? Even though I'm from California, it's so much more than that. So yeah, definitely, if this is the kind of place that you want to live, and if the kind of lifestyle that you want to live is more real to like how Japan really is, then I definitely recommend giving places like Nagano or the other rural places a chance. So yeah, that's it from me. I guess if you I have 5 minutes left, if you have any questions or anything like that, I'm more than happy to answer them. So yeah, thank you.